Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander has confirmed that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service website is back online after being unable and unavailable during February and early March. That's a long space of time to talk about. He explained that the downtime was caused by non-payment to the external service provider responsible for hosting and maintaining the site. The minister also advised that some features on the website are temporarily unavailable due to ongoing maintenance and upgrades. My response was responsible for the maintenance of the TTPS website and why the payment to the service provider wasn't paid on time. I expect these kind of things to take place under the PNM. But remember, the TTPS isn't directly controlled by the government. It's state-owned, of course, but it's not directly controlled by the government. So you can't even blame Roger for this one. Honestly speaking, you can't even blame Roger for this one. Roger Alexander though needs to hold, I told him, you need to hold your former colleagues accountable for their incompetence and corruption. And I'm not just talking about in this case, I'm talking about in general.
Based on information provided to the ministry by the Commissioner of Police, the website of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service experienced a period of unavailability during the month of February and extended into early March 2026. The Commissioner of Police has advised that the interruption arose in circumstances where there was outstanding payments to the external service provider responsible for hosting and maintaining of the website, including an invoice relating to service rendered in 2025 and a subsequent invoice for 2026. Mr. President, I am advised that the matter has since been addressed and the website has now been restored to service. At present, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is also undergoing routine maintenance and upgrade activities to improve the functionality and resilience of the platform. As a result, certain features of the website may be temporarily unavailable whilst their technical works are being completed. The Information and Communication Technology Division of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service continues to implement the necessary technical mitigation measures to ensure the full restoration and ongoing stability of the website in the near future.
On Wednesday, 1st of April 2026, Dr. the Honorable Michael Dowlath, Minister of Education, met with local representatives of Jolly Phonics program led by local distributor Mr. Teddy Mohammed. Minister Dowlath was joined by Dr. Peter Smith, Chief Education Officer. The Jolly Phonics program is used in more than 150 countries and has been influential in supporting literacy worldwide. Relying on engaging resources and a multi-sensory focus, the program appeals to a vast variety of learning styles and encourages children around the world to learn to read and write, which is really important. The Ministry of Education remains committed to fostering collaborations that support the development of the education system so that every child can learn, grow, and thrive. We need that. We need that especially in our primary schools for sure, but even in secondary, there are a lot of individuals that have this they have problems with reading and writing, people. So we need to address that issue, whether it's at the secondary level or, of course, primary school level as well. For now, at the secondary level, if it is to really deal with this issue at the primary level properly, at the first year and second year, and probably standard 1 and standard 2 or whatsoever, you wouldn't really have a problem in secondary school, at the end of the day. The National Union of Government and Federated Workers has negotiated a $2.6 billion wage deal for daily rated public service workers. The NUGFW President Christopher Street explained that 40% of the arrears owed to workers will be paid in cash, while 60% will be in non-cash form. Now, while I don't like the idea of just bonds and whatsoever, The reality is, people, the UNC inherited a bankrupt economy, bankrupt treasury. Almost a really, this time around, the treasury was almost empty, you could say. And you know why we know that for sure? After UNC won and they began to give promises to the citizens, you know what PNM members turned around and said? Where are you going to find the money to do all that? They knew exactly what they were leaving for the UNC to inherit to those people. Don't get tied up at all outside here.
The elements, one, they would have brought back. If you're owing HDC, you can use that to offset whether it's arrears, whether it's a current mortgage. So a person could apply that to the current mortgage and get a break from paying their mortgage. So that in itself is instant cash.
Mr. Street observed that although some employees lack a mortgage, they may still utilize a non-cash settlement method to make a home payment.
This non-cash could be transferred. It is transferable. So if a worker doesn't have a mortgage, he can transfer it to someone who does, whether it's his children, whether it's his siblings, or whether it's his relatives, whoever, a stranger, whoever.
He added that the non-cash element can also be used to pay tuition or allow a worker to go on leave and be paid. Mr. Street also said workers who have already retired will receive 100% of their arrears in cash.
Weather forecast, Trinidad and Tobago. Date, Thursday, April 2, 2026. General outlook. Trinidad and Tobago can expect a mainly sunny and breezy day. While conditions will be generally settled, there is a low to medium 30% chance of brief, isolated showers during the late morning and early afternoon. The evening is expected to be mostly fair and cool. Temperature and heat index. Maximum high, Trinidad, 31 degrees Celsius feels like 34 degrees Celsius. Maximum high, Tobago, 30 degrees Celsius feels like 33 degrees Celsius. Minimum low, 23 degrees Celsius. Humidity, ranging from 60% to 85%. Wind and marine conditions. Winds gentle to moderate breezes from the east-northeast at 15-35 km per hour. Seas moderate with open water waves between 1.5 meters and 2.0 meters. Small craft operators should exercise standard caution. Daylight and UV. Sunrise 5:59 a.m., sunset 6:13 p.m. UV index moderate. Sun protection is recommended for outdoor activities between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Regional news now. St. Vincent and the Grenadines opposition leader Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has called for an immediate end to the ongoing war in the Middle East, citing its growing impact on global and regional economies, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Speaking on Star Radio on Monday, Dr. Gonsalves stressed the urgent need for diplomatic intervention to bring the conflict to an end. Diplomatic how? You could negotiate with terrorists like the Ayatollah. He emphasized that the war is placing significant pressure on import and export activities, particularly affecting smaller nations that rely heavily on international trade. He noted that even countries attempting to remain neutral are experiencing economic fallout as disruptions in global supply chains continue to worsen. What you need to do, Gonsalves, is tell the Ayatollah to stop murdering tens of thousands of their citizens when they're protesting. Stop attempting to build nuclear weapons, enriching uranium. That's what he needs to tell the Ayatollah, the terrorist Ayatollah regime to do. A matter of fact, he should be telling the Ayatollah regime it's about time to surrender.
Can we get through get the fertilizer to go through? Can we allow intermediate materials, and can we allow food to go through? The best way, of course, for this to be done is to bring this war to an end, for the warring parties to bring it to an end. And this initiative doesn't cut across any plan to open the streets by force or by agreement otherwise. But it's now 4 weeks and people are suffering. we have to do something. We have to do something. And these are voices, influential voices saying we must do something.
Health teams in Guyana were on the ground at the Robb Street Post Office yesterday, with additional outreach teams stationed at post offices in Camp Belleville, Kitty, East La Penitence, Border, and Carmichael Street, making it easier for citizens, especially their pensioners, to access important health services. The government is bringing care, convenience, and support directly to the people instead of just telling the people, make sacrifices, get a donkey cart, get a bicycle, and ride 200-300 miles or whatever amount of length, whatever distance, to be able to go and get health care in a hospital far, or health center far away from them. That is wonderful news continuing to come out from Guyana because of the Irfan Ali administration. The introduction of a prepaid electricity system in local markets in Jamaica is intended to help reduce the occurrence of fires in the facilities, says Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie. He said, if you ask me what is the biggest challenge that we face in the country when it comes on to our markets, it is that 9 out of every 10 fires in markets can be attributed to electricity short-circuiting, McKenzie said. The minister noted that while other issues such as vending on the street can be controlled with assertive action, illegal electricity connections are the greatest challenges being faced by municipal corporations across the country. The markets have lights and vendors are connecting illegally onto the lighting system because they are using poor materials for lighting. You find fires almost on a regular basis, he explained. We can't run away from the problems, the minister stressed, while informing that discussions are being held with the Jamaica Public Service Company Limited, JPS, about prepaid electricity in the markets. He said that the system will work in the same way you buy credit and put on your cell phone. Now, it sounds good to an extent, but what if a lot of these individuals just don't want to pay for electricity? And that's why they are doing it. I don't know, but who knows? Maybe it may at least reduce instances of this taking place so often. 5 months after flash floods swept through St. Lucie in Barbados and devastated farmland, growers say they are finally seeing new crops take root, but the government support pledged in the aftermath has yet to materialize. Try and get that done as soon as possible, Mia Motley. Prime Minister Mia Motley. Farmers affected by the sudden November 2025 rains and resulted floods are now witnessing gradual growth of fresh crops after their fields were left waterlogged and bare. Well, you know for sure that means that vegetables, crops, those type of food items most likely were extremely expensive in Barbados for that space of time, just like what happens here in Trinidad and Tobago when floods occur. Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis has announced that the 2026 general elections will be held on Tuesday, May 12th, after holding everyone in suspense for quite a few days now, probably over a week now. Davis said he will advise the Governor General to dissolve Parliament on Wednesday. Why didn't do that since what day it was? But you see, that would have meant that he would have had to announce when the elections would have been. So Davis said he will advise the Governor General to dissolve Parliament on Wednesday, April 8th, with writs of election to be issued on April 9th. He also reminded Bahamians that those with a valid voter's card remain eligible to vote, while first-time voters and those needing transfers must act quickly. That's why you should have given people a longer space of time. But anyhow, under the law, the voters register closes at the end of April 8th, marking the deadline to register transfer to verify voter information. April 8th? My goodness, I just what, 6 days from now? Lord have mercy, you know. That's how you all do things in Bahamas. International news now. President Trump says many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. The short-term increase has been entirely the result of the hearing. Mama, you come in the video, princess. I'll keep this one though.
Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat.
Marco Rubio on Iran said they were aiming to become the next North Korea, not a North Korea run by a regime that is troublesome and hard to understand, but an Iran run by radical Shia clerics with intercontinental missiles, individuals that do believe that they have a duty to bring forth their Messiah, to call him forth by beginning the jihad, people. In other words, it's even worse than the North Korea regime at this point in time. The Ayatollah regime is led by people who believe it is their calling and their purpose in life to usher in, you see, as I said, the end of the world, to welcome their Messiah, who is supposed to just destroy everybody except those that follow that belief. We can see the finish line, he went on to say. It's not today or tomorrow, but it's coming soon.
We're ahead of schedule on each of those 4 objectives, and we can see the finish line. It's not today, it's not tomorrow, but it is coming. We are going to get to the point where our military will have achieved all of its objectives in this mission, and they're doing so with extraordinary efficiency, something that I think will go down in history as one of the best-run tactical military operations in modern times, which is really far away. So they were moving towards eventually having a missile that could reach the continental United States. That's what they were aiming to do. They were aiming to become the next North Korea, except not a North Korea run by, a regime that, is troublesome and hard to understand, but an Iran run by radical Shia clerics with intercontinental missiles that could reach the mainland of the United States eventually. That's what they were going towards. That's what they would have ultimately achieved.
Now for the interesting facts segment, a breakthrough in hearing restoration is giving new hope to patients worldwide around the world. In 2019, in South Africa, Mashudu Shifu Laro and his team successfully used 3D printed titanium middle ear bones to restore hearing in a patient with damaged ossicles. Instead of standard implants, the device was custom designed to match the patient's anatomy, improving precision and results. After years of research and persistence, this innovation highlighted the potential of personalized medicine and the growing demand for advanced hearing solutions in the U.S. and beyond. Now, isn't that a wonderful, interesting fact?
Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News Travel Adventures. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park is a raw, humbling landscape on the Big Island where you can witness the Earth creating itself. Walking through smoking crater rims, walking inside the Thurston lava tube, and exploring vast, barren lava fields makes you feel like you've landed on another planet. It's an unforgettable, moody experience of fire and lush rainforest. Highlights of the park. Active volcanism, home to Kilauea and Mauna Loa, some of the most active volcanoes in the world. While active lava flow visibility varies, the glow from the crater is often visible, particularly at night. Unreal hiking trails, walk through the lush rainforest to enter the Nahuku Thurston lava tube, hike across a hardened lava lake on the Kilauea Ikai Trail, or witness the dramatic, steaming fissures at the Crater Rim Trail. Driving the Chain of Craters Road, a dramatic 19-mile drive that drops roughly 3,700 feet from the summit to the ocean, passing vast lava fields from past eruptions. Cultural significance, this land is sacred to the Hawaiian people, representing the home of the volcano deity Pele. Tips for your trip. Plan ahead. The Kalawi Visitor Center will be closed for renovation starting February 17, 2025, lasting for 2 years, but other park areas remain open. Best times: the park is open 24 hours, and watching the volcanic glow at night is spectacular. Pack accordingly, wear sturdy shoes for hiking over jagged, unforgiving lava rock, and pack warm clothes as the summit elevation can get surprisingly cold and windy. Stay safe, always stay on marked trails. The sulfur banks and volcanic vents can be dangerous. Accommodation: book early if you want to stay inside the park at the historic Volcano House, which offers views of the crater.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.